License applications report from City Manager.
City Manager's communication number 260 dated June 19 is received into and made part of the record. Mr. Clerk, please read the liquor license agenda.
Your Honor, on this evening's liquor license agenda, under item 5B, we have one request for a person transfer. Staff has indicated the applicant is in compliance with city requirements. However, written arguments in opposition have been filed. So this item would be considered separately. Since it's the only item, we would go to Vice Mayor Kozachik in Ward 6.
All right, Vice Mayor Kozachik.
Thank you. Are the applicants present? I believe Chris and Ricardo are, and I've got a third card, Mary Helen Dunlap. Why don't we hear from Mary Helen first, because the owners are Chris and Ricardo, and we can talk to them next.
Mary Helen,
Mary Helen Dunlap? No? Okay. Then Chris and Ricardo, you want to come forward and walk through this? It's so weird. Yeah. Thanks for showing up. Do you want to make an opening statement before we walk through a couple questions?
Sure.
Okay, sure, thanks.
Mr. Mayor, Council, Member Kozachik, and Council members. I'm Ricardo Garcia, and this is my business partner, Chris Smith. We, through our company, Wild Boys LLC, own the Mint on Grant. We purchased it along with the land and the building back in March of this year. As you know, we are here today to obtain a recommendation of person-to-person transfer of our number 6 liquor license. Just some quick background. I have been in entertainment business for many years. I have done promotions here in Tucson, statewide, nationally, and throughout Europe. I've learned a lot in business. Many years of this need to create and maintain successful business and bring that experience to this endeavor. Both Chris and I have our Title IV liquor training and all the certificates required by the city. We have an in-compliance memos from the Revenue Development Service and from TPD. As you recall, we resubmitted our original application, and you have the new questionnaire in your packets. These are the questionnaires that TPD reviewed with our council and then provided their memo of in-compliance. I also own a property management company in New Mexico that rents to law enforcement. The acronym is Federal Law Enforcement Training Center. And I have met payrolls, pay my taxes on time, and know how to manage people in business. We are operating on an interim permit right now with no problems. We had an extensive employee handbook for employees to follow proper procedures regarding liquor license, liquor service, and laws in Arizona. Chris and I are also requiring all of our employees to handle liquor, to be trained in Title IV and the regulations. Chris and I can speak to this business background, but about his business background, suffice to say that he too comes to the table with years of business management experience, not only in real estate, but in entertainment business as well. When we bought the location, we met the neighbors, and council member Mr. Kozachik knows we have worked closely with Palo Verde Neighborhood Association to keep them in the loop of ongoing plans and changes. We are certainly surprised to see that Palo Verde submitted a protest. We thought we had good meetings with them, and our last meeting on June 4th, Ronnie seemed interested to continue and keep the lines of communication open. It looks like from what she sent to the city that Palo Verde held a meeting in May and decided to vote against our person-to-person transfer even before our meeting held at our location on June 4th. Anyway, many of the concerns Ronnie raised in her protest have to do with location issues. Since those issues are not germane to discussion, I did not want to spend much time. However, here's some of the things that I do want to talk about. Some of the things she mentioned is that I had ownership at Club Envy, and I want to make this clear that I've owned Skyline Promotions for many years, and I've done promotions, like I said here, throughout the state, throughout Tucson, many nightclubs here in town. I wasn't involved in any shape or form on owning Club Envy at all, and I owned Skyline Promotions. That was my business there, and as I've done promotions all over Tucson. Another thing she mentioned is that we were hiding hidden ownership. Once again, I wasn't an owner, and that we were hiding behind Kevin Kramer, who was our agent. And as you well know, Mr. Kozachik, he was at our meeting, at our town meeting there, and we explained what his responsibilities are as our agent. So to wrap this up, we personally are qualified to hold the license and to look forward to aiding a new exciting place for Tucsonans to visit We have integrated well into the surrounding business environment and will continue to do business with the city and neighbors can be proud of. Chris and I are here to answer any questions you may have. We look forward to receiving your recommendation of approval tonight. Thank you. And we're open to questions.
Thank you.
Chris, did you want to make an opening comment? Or?
You know, I think my partner spoke pretty well. The only other things I would just like to say is that, you know, some of these issues that have been, some of the issues that have been raised, you know, we had an extensive meeting with our council, with TPD, and they're the city's experts on these things, and they really looked into us and, you know, examined our backgrounds thoroughly and have recommended us. That's about all I'd like to say.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank you for the meeting with the neighborhood, and I wanted to confirm a couple of the commitments that you guys made at the last one. With respect to the security, I'm reading notes from the meeting here that your plan is to have a doorman and parking lot will be covered by some security people. Is that still the deal?
Yes, sir. Probably when we have events, that's when we'll be doing that. As of now, we haven't changed anything, and we haven't had any big events or anything that would necessitate that kind of security as of this point.
What about lighting on the outside? Are you intending to repair the lighting on the outside?
Yeah, we
install
already,
cameras on the outside?
Yes, sir. We repaired all the lighting that goes along the outside of the building. We were considering putting another light on one of the poles that TEP has. We just don't know if we're going to remove that pole yet. So there would be no sense in putting an extra light lighting up the parking lot. And we just bought a new DVR that we can monitor and has 16 cameras, and along with the advice of council, we figured we'd put up more cameras rather than less, and basically get every angle of our property to be able to monitor it well.
To the exterior?
Yes.
There was discussion at both of our meetings about a block wall on top of the existing wall. Can you describe your plans for that, for sound mitigation?
Oh, there's a smoking patio, and what we wanted to do is, it looks a little rough, and as soon as we get the permits and everything that we need to do, we're going to basically enclose the back. We have to leave a third of it open to meet building specs. And at that point, when we do put up the new wall, we're going to make sure that it is a sound wall so that we can mitigate any noise going out into the neighborhood.
And have you designated a new manager yet?
We're in that process right now. We've interviewed, and we think we have a new manager at this point, but he hasn't been named. And yeah, we also have another manager, which is Judy. She's been the manager the whole time, and then Sky and myself are in very frequently, pretty much every day.
And we also discussed parking issues and concerns. How do you anticipate addressing those, and how many patrons do you expect at your shows?
As far as parking, right now we are in compliance. We are discussing. We've had some verbal discussions with some of the businesses, including our neighbor next door, about using the parking in the evenings and for overflow parking, and we'll get a written agreement with them and submit that to the city. And as far as what we expect for shows, our plan is, and this is another, I guess, to the other point, is that we're not a strip bar. We will be remaining the Mint. The name will be the Mint, and the only thing we're bringing in is entertainment, and that'll be depending on the entertainment venue. Obviously, we would like as many people as possible. I think that's every business's goal. What we can, what our capacity is, and coming up with a plan for parking. I think just to be able to come up with enough overflow parking and agreements with our neighbors is our next goal.
And why was the name on the application changed? Is it Kevin's name now?
No. It wasn't changed. He was always our agent. That's the capacity he serves in the liquor industry, and that way we get the best representation and the best guy possibly to do that. Our LLC name is the same. We're the same owners on it, and he is just our agent on the license, and I think this is pretty commonplace in the industry.
When we first met and had an email exchange, you were in Russia or something, I don't know where.
Yes, sir.
Right, yeah. And this is where the conversation kind of shifted. You had indicated that it was your intention to keep it the Mint, and in fact you had a similar conversation with a reporter from the Star, and in it said that, you know, there was once a Wild Boys show club. This was his report, but then, Ricardo, your comments were, we have no plans to make this a strip bar. We're happy with the Mint the way it is. Chris and I have no plans to make any changes. In fact, we also kept the previous employees. The customers have been coming there for a long time. We've been meeting most of them. They're very nice. We plan to keep them there. And it's a great feeling to know that we bought a great establishment in Tucson with a tradition of the Mint. Those were the comments that came out in the Star. We held a neighborhood meeting then because of the name on the application was Wild Boys, and so it generated some concerns. Well, is this the Mint or is this a male strip club? What is it going to be? And so when we met over at the ward office, you said, well, we're going to keep the Wednesday karaoke. We're going to have a band on Friday, but we're going to have a show on Friday or Saturday or Saturday, and that this is really not going to begin until October. That's what raised the concerns. Can you explain to us what caused that change in use, and is it still your plan to roll this out in October, and basically did I describe that meeting accurately?
Sure, and like I said, when we were gone for that month, we wanted to actually assess the bar to see how it's doing, see the numbers, because when you buy an establishment, you know, you wonder if they're giving you the true numbers or not, to see what kind of numbers they had, and it was just at a break even. And I want to go back because in the early 90s, I set precedents here with mayor and council. Many of you might know that we established that we're not considered strippers, we were not considered adult entertainment, and that was a big win for us because, you know, at that time we weren't going to be able to perform anywhere here in Tucson, and so when we set that, you know, it was a big victory for us. So we're not considered strippers, number one. So if we do have the Wild Boys there, we're considered entertainers. We were able to perform on NBC, ABC, network television during prime time where families could watch, and therefore the city said that we're not considered adult entertainment or strippers. We're entertainers. So I want to make that known that if and when we do have entertainment on Fridays or Saturday nights, we're not strippers, we are entertainers. And it's only 2 hours, and we're not a strip club. And I still hold true to that. If we have entertainers, we're not strippers, number one, and we're not considered a strip club. This is set forth by the city of Tucson. And, you know, I think people forget about that, but that was an important victory for us. So if we have entertainers, it's like Hooters. It's like, go ahead.
It's the same as if we perform at the Maverick. The Maverick doesn't become a strip club. Cactus Moon, the Maverick, they're still their own entities, and the Mint will remain that also. We're just going to have entertainment in there a couple hours a week, you know, whether it's bands or the Wild Boys or whatnot. And we're still going to keep with the tradition of the Mint and keep it the Mint.
Yeah, okay. Can you explain your interest in Miss Saigon, the Driftwood, or the Midtown Bar and Grill?
Oh, sorry, ask me again?
Your interest initially before you bought the Mint in...
Oh, I see. Yes. Kevin is our realtor as well.